For our journalistic profile, we have chosen journalist and television host Christiane Amanpour. In a time where the truth seems to come second to agenda, it is now more than ever that the world is in need of journalism that aligns itself with expressing and revealing the complete truth in its purest form to the public, with its only loyalty belonging to its citizens. Today's world is filled with fake news, fabricated stories, and dishonorable truths, and people are in need of journalists who prioritize the truth and understand the significance of protecting free press. People are in need of journalists like Christiane Amanpour. Amanpour is a British-Iranian journalist and television host. She has contributed her efforts and works to a variety of media networks ranging from CNN, PBS, ABC, and CBS, and has made quite the name for herself as a respected journalist amongst her peers and the public. She was born in England but completed primary school in Iran. She stayed there till she was 16 after completing her time at a Roman Catholic school. She recalls her upbringing as giving her a thoughtful and aware perspective of the world around her, as she was exposed to two contrasting cultures, her mother's, a Roman Catholic, and her father's, a Shia Muslim. She lived a privileged life as her family was well known, politically connected, and wealthy and affluent. After finishing school, she went back to Iran, but due to the Iranian Revolution, her and her family decided to move to the United States and seek of a new place to call home. The family had lost everything that they had owned in Iran after their departure, and there was no trace of the luxurious life they once lived in Iran. Amanpour now credits these first-hand experiences of hers as the reason to what led her to become a journalist. She went to college at the University of Rhode Island and received her BA in journalism. She found work and became very involved in news departments in Providence, Rhode Island. During her time there, she also became an NBC affiliate at WJAR in Providence as an electronic graphic designer.
So here are some important stories. Amanpour was the last journalist to interview King Hassan of Jordan before his death in 1999, and the first to interview his son, King Abdullah. She interviewed the king in 1991, and the king later passed away in 1999. She then became the first journalist to interview King Hassan's son, Abdullah, on May 3, 1999. Second story is Amanpour's post-9/11 interviews with French President Jacques, Pakistani President Perez, and British Prime Minister Tony Blair further helped pave the way for her to gain much respect. She was the first to conduct interviews with world leaders after 9/11. A third story of her reporting is she also was one of the famous journalists to cover the fall of communism. In 1989, Amanpour was assigned to Frankfurt, West Germany, where she became one of CNN's main reporters on the democratic revolutions in Eastern Europe as the Soviet Union fell. Following Iraq's, and this is the fourth story, following Iraq's occupation in Kuwait in 1990, Amanpour's reports of the Persian Gulf War brought her wide notice. Therefore, she reported from the Bosnian War and other conflict zones. These were all important stories for her to pave her way as a famous journalism in the U.S. and across the world. Amanpour has stood in the middle of war zones. She has also interviewed people who weren't the best, and she is a well-known reporter from CNN and will always be one of the best well-known reporters in the world.
Over the years, Christiane Amanpour has received numerous awards for her fearless journalism and broadcasting, including multiple Emmy Awards, Peabody Awards, and the George Polk Award. She has also been honored with the Courage in Journalism Award and was appointed the UNESCO Goodwill Ambassador, recognizing her dedication and truth to human rights around the world. Amanpour this year has been appointed to receive the 2025 Fulbright Prize for her excellence and commitment to hosting discussions and reporting stories that will take place in May at Johns Hopkins University.
Everybody thinks that journalism is an easier job for men. I guess because men were always in the vanguard of every profession, that it became considered a man's job, particularly when I became a war correspondent, and whether I was in the Saudi Arabia during the first Gulf War, or then Iraq, Afghanistan, Iran, all these male-dominated patriarchal societies in a male-dominated job, everybody was like stunned, and I would get all these questions about, well, what's it like being a woman journalist and on the front lines? And I'd never even thought about it. It just didn't occur to me that it was any different being a woman than a man. So I used to say, well, you know, it's just like being a man, only better. And I still believe that. And yeah, sure, I was in competition with men, but again, I never thought of it that way. I was just in competition.
Our group chose Christiane Amanpour for our journalist profile because she represents the resilience, strength, and impact that women have in society and media. Amanpour is also a female British-Iranian journalist we have not yet to speak about in class, and we wanted to bring awareness to her role in our world. As a self-establishing female journalist, Amanpour has courageously reported from war zones and held world leaders accountable for their actions, breaking barriers in a male-dominated field. As a group of women with diverse majors, we found inspiration in her professionalism and dedication to reporting on the truth and the facts. Her work reminds us all of the vital role women play in challenging power structures, crafting narratives, and contributing news across all areas of society.
Amanpour's extensive coverage of international conflicts and crises has made her a model for journalists who cover these intense yet impactful stories. As CNN's chief foreign correspondent, she was granted exclusive interviews with world leaders and has experience working in the field at war zones such as in Iraq and Israel. Amanpour's experience in extreme situations like these war zones makes her a prime example of a journalist who will do anything to seek and publish the truth. She fought through barriers that tried to keep her and her crew out of the battlefields, yet she found a way to get to the news while keeping herself and her crew safe. She has also helped pave the way for female journalists, especially those of diverse backgrounds. Her show, The Amanpour Hour, features guests ranging from world leaders, artists, and even cultural observers. It appeals to an audience of all ages, as she accurately and professionally delivers world news. In an article to CNN Business in 2023, where she reflected on her 40 years at CNN, she stated, quote, "You don't want to go to the cocktail parties. You don't want to be liked. You don't want to rub shoulders. Your job is not that. You need to be able to hold them constantly accountable," unquote. This is the motto that reflects journalism today, especially with the rise of social media. An accurate delivery of information is more important than ever.
So I now say, truthful, not neutral. There's a difference.
Yes.
Truthful is bringing the truth. Neutral can be creating a false equivalence between this fact and that. I'm really glad you agree, because it's to you who I'm reporting the news, and I really want you to know that I go out of my way to bring you the truth. And the truth is actually there. You can find the truth. And there are facts, and there are figures, and then there are other things. And you can't conflate the two,
yes,
or create an equivalence there. I learned that.